All right, hi kids. I'm here with little Nathan. And
Hello,
we
children.
are still trying to get you to ride your bike, okay?
Well, eventually I'll get around to it, I think.
Okay, but I would love for you to take some instruction on riding your bike. You seem to be hesitant to take instruction from people.
No, not really hesitant, just kind of scared of riding the bike.
I think that we need to get you at least sitting on the chairs, the seat.
Well, if somebody holds it, I'll sit on it.
You're just... You know what? Let's learn about Samson, who didn't follow instructions, and see what ended up happening to him, okay?
Okay.
Okay, do you know who Samson was?
I know that he was a very strong man.
He was a very strong man. He was a judge of Israel, and was supposed to bring all the Israelites back into line in worshiping God, but also free them from the Philistines.
So he was like the most important person in Israel.
He was.
leading them.
Yes, and he was also a Nazarite, which meant that he had very long hair. He was set apart by God to be one of these special men to lead Israel to freedom. So he wasn't allowed to cut his hair, he wasn't allowed to drink wine, and he wasn't allowed to touch anything unclean, so any dead animals. But Samson was
This
also...
looks good. I've had a lot of things on my head in these things, and this is the best look for me, I think.
I think it is. Samson was also a man who had incredible strength. God showed that he was set apart with this strength. So Samson...
Did he work out?
No.
God gave him strength.
Yeah, God's spirit moved through him and he was very strong. But Samson didn't listen to God. He was a very selfish person. And he didn't listen to any of his parents or anyone.
He wasn't good at taking instructions.
He wasn't. Not at all. And so Samson wanted to marry a Philistine woman. Now what would be wrong with that?
Well, it's hard when you are married to somebody who doesn't have the same God, because you're going to fight about stuff. One person's going to want to go to church, one's going to want to stay home.
Yeah, and God tells us not to. He just simply says, do not marry someone who doesn't worship me. But Samson decides that he is...
You and I have the same God.
We do.
So that's a good thing. That's kind of potential there for us, maybe.
Right, except I'm married. Okay.
You're married?
Yes. All right, so Samson tries...
You've kind of been leading me on a little bit, I think.
I don't think so.
No.
Samson...
You have a ring?
We're going to keep going.
Okay.
Samson...
I don't know if I can recover.
Samson wants to marry this Philistine woman. And on this way to take her on a date, a lion pops out at him.
Oh, hooray.
And Samson is so strong, he's able to tear the lion apart. And he leaves it at the side of this bush. And then the next day when he comes to visit his girlfriend again, there's honey in it. And he starts eating the honey out of this dead lion. So what has he done wrong there?
Well, he's a Nazarene, right?
Right.
So he wasn't supposed to touch dead animals.
Right.
And the lion's dead.
Yeah.
How long does honey take to form? That seems like a quick turnaround on the honey.
It does. Things like that happen in the Bible all the time. He's eating this honey, he's marrying someone he shouldn't, and that seems to be the pattern that Samson follows all the time. He's given this strength, but he doesn't use it to free Israel. He uses it for his own selfishness. And Samson continues to refuse to follow what God has called him into. And he uses his strength all throughout his life for his own gain and not to help the Israelites. And because of that, he eventually gets captured by the Philistines. Are you listening?
I'm trying. I'm a bit sad.
You're a bit sad.
But you can tell this story.
Okay, so Samson gets captured by the Philistines, and that is the first time he actually goes to God in prayer.
When he's in crisis.
When he's in a crisis, yes.
I know what that's like.
And the Philistines have sort of put him between two pillars in their town as they're making a mockery of Samson and worshiping their God. And Samson then prays to God, please give me strength one more time. And then he pushes the pillars of this building down.
Ooh, doesn't that end up crushing a bunch of people?
It crushes everyone.
That's no good.
Yeah, including himself. And so Samson used his strength that ended up in just devastation rather than listening to the guidance of his parents, rather than listening to the guidance of God. He just did his own thing.
It could have been so good for Samson if he used his strength for good.
It is quite a sad story of wasting your gifts.
Yep. You
Yeah.
hate when there's an opportunity there and you kind of want to seize it, and then it turns out it's not good.
Alrighty, children.
It's okay. It's just going to be awkward for a while. That's all right. I'm still committed to this. Kids, don't be like Samson, is what we're saying. Take instructions, and you know what? Just to kind of show that I'm no hard feelings, I'll try and learn to ride the bike, okay?
Alrighty.
Okay. Thanks, kids.
Bye, children.
Bye.
Hi, boys and girls. We're going to do a new worship challenge. What we're going to do is we're going to make actions to every fear must fall. But because it's spring, we want to do it outside. Because outside is awesome. And outside is a way that we get to see God and all that He's done. So what we need you to do is film actions to every fear must fall, but outside. Okay? All right, great.
Okay, so today in our story, we learned about Samson, who had incredible gifts, and he didn't use them to benefit anyone else except
He
himself.
was very selfish with his
He
gifts.
was selfish. And to prevent ourselves from becoming selfish or self-centered like Samson, we are going to practice guidance and submission today. And we're going to do that through playing a game called Crazy Eights. And it's just a card game, but what you're going to notice is that everybody kind of has their own rules for Crazy Eights. Some people have a rule around the Jack of Clubs.
Is that why it's called crazy?
Some people have a rule around the cards that
That's
have
crazy.
twos on them. And so what you're going to do in your class or
Are we
at
allowed
home,
to play cards in church?
we are. What you're going
Does this
to do?
encourage gambling?
No, it doesn't. It's just Crazy Eights.
I've always had weird feelings about the one-eyed Jack.
All right, so what you're gonna do is everyone around your table is probably coming from a home with different rules around the Crazy Eight card game. So you're going to let whoever dealt the cards for this round tell you what the rules are. When their turn of dealing is over, the next person will tell you what their rules are from their home. And so you're going to have to learn how to take guidance and how to submit to someone else's rules as you play this. Okay, so in my house, we always have a rule around the card that has a 2 on it. If I put down a 2, you have to pick up 2 more cards. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 more cards. So children, I would love for you to try and play this game and try and see if you can submit or take guidance from other people around your table.
I think you should know I've been seeing someone.
Alrighty, great. You know what? Let me give you a blessing before you go.
I don't know if I want this.
Well, you know what? You may need a blessing as you're dating this other person. So
There
that.
actually is no other person. I just said that.
Alrighty, let me
Oh.
hold your hand and give you a blessing, sweetheart. May you fan into flames the gifts that God has given you. Have a good day. Bye, children.
Bye.